So I thought I would do a little bit of a palm tree update on all my palms. I'm going to try to be kind of quick, but I've got a lot to go through. So on this beautiful day, I'm going to try to go through them one by one. I'm going to tell you what I think is working and what is not here in the Hudson Valley in New York State. Finally getting some warm weather here. So this is my biggest Washingtonia. The top leaf up there is probably getting close to 7 feet, and the trunk is really getting large here. I'll put my hand up in here. It's getting pretty big, but yeah, those serrated edges there are quite sharp. Every time I forget they're there when I'm crawling back in there, it is quite hard. But I've got a lot of new growth on it here. I had to trim off some of the fronds, got a little damaged in the winter. So this is my biggest one here, and it is out by the pool. I have a much smaller one that I grew from seed here. These seeds came from Texas. I can't even remember who gave them to me, but I did have my problem Washingtonia there. It just wasn't growing. It had weird growth. It was one I bought from a nursery in New York, and it just never did that well. Finally I just said enough is enough after this winter. It made it through the winter, but I just said it's got to go. It's just not doing right. So I had one of these seed ones that I overwintered in the garage, so it's out here and it's got some nice new growth and it's doing well. And then across my pool I have another one. That's my Yucca rostrata right there. It's hard for me to see in the sun here. And I have this one that's doing really well next to one of my windmill palms, but it is growing really well. I'm gonna go over there, show you close up. This is another one I grew from seed, and it's definitely Washingtonia robusta. And this one overwintered just fine, with protection of course. And I think it looks really good. It's got new growth. It's growing really well. It has a nice view of the river there. And then over here is some of my baby Washingtonias, date palms. This right here that's in the ground is a Washingtonia filifera. I guess that's how you say it. It's basically a California fan palm. And the thing I find questionable with these is that they are really unstable, unlike the robustas. Like, it's just, even if you put dirt up against it, I'm waiting for it to, and I've seen it on other people's videos too. So if anybody would like to comment on that, why are the Washingtonia robustas, which is right here, so stable, locked in the ground, and all of the filiferas are so loose in the ground? So, but lots of babies. I still have more babies up on the deck, but like I said, we're going through the Washingtonias first. So this is another one I grew from seed, and it's definitely Washingtonia robusta. And this one overwintered just fine, with protection of course. And I think it looks really good. It's got new growth. It's growing really well. It has a nice view of the river there. And then over here is some of my baby Washingtonias, date palms. This right here that's in the ground is a Washingtonia filifera. I guess that's how you say it. It's basically a California fan palm. And the thing I find questionable with these is that they are really unstable, unlike the robustas. Like, it's just, even if you put dirt up against it, I'm waiting for it to, and I've seen it on other people's videos too. So if anybody would like to comment on that, why are the Washingtonia robustas, which is right here, so stable, locked in the ground, and all of the filiferas are so loose in the ground? So, but lots of babies. I still have more babies up on the deck, but like I said, we're going through the Washingtonias first. And here on the other side of some of my bananas and my bird of paradise is another one of my Washingtonias robustas. This one has been outside for 2 winters, It's doing really well. It got a little fried. This was part of the Christmas Eve issue where it was super cold and windy and the structure blew over in the middle of the night. I thought it was gone completely. It was really fried. I cut off most of the fried stuff and it came back really quick and fast, and I think it looks pretty good. It's got lots of new growth. I just can't get over there right now without stepping on all the flowers and perennials, but it's doing great. It's growing big. I'm happy about it. And this up here is the last of my big Washingtonia robustas. It's up against the house. It's in a pretty secure location here. I still cover it, of course, because I'm in New York. And it's growing quite well. It's also probably, its top frond up there is probably maybe even taller than the one below. The base is not quite as thick as the one by the pool, but it's definitely getting up there. That second story is higher than 8 feet, but that frond is getting up there. The bananas are just crazy this year. I just can't believe they're this tall in the middle of June, so hopefully they will be up above the second story window at some point there. Okay, so the windmills, the Trachycarpus fortunei. So I have several of them. I've had some for many years. When I moved into this house, I immediately wanted a big one because I finally moved to a zone that could handle them for the most part, even though I do protect them. So this one on the right here was my very first one. I'm trying to zoom in from this height. And it's a male. And then a year later, I got these from Island-Wide Palms in Long Island, New York. I got these two, and unfortunately, they turned out to be male too. So, but they're really beautiful and big. So here's more of a close-up. As you can see, it bloomed. It's a male. There's no seeds. And it's well over 10 feet. And then moving past my Yucca rostrata here, that's the Hudson River out there. Here's another one of my large males. It is well over 10 feet. It also bloomed. And one of my bigger Yucca rostratas. And here's another one. My trickies, and it bloomed as well. Also a male. So you can see them all from up here at the pool. But they do really well. I love that they flower. I just wish they would flower at the same time as the female, which I'm about to show you. And up by the koi pond along my house, this is my female that I know is a female because I've gotten seeds off of it before. It bloomed extremely early this year before the males, and luckily I still got some seeds. Not a lot, but at least I can start some more baby palms, even though I have too many. And this one, unfortunately over here, is a male. Both of these are probably about 7 or 8 feet tall now. They came from Georgia, from my parents, and they're growing incredibly fast. I almost think because I got them smaller, they're growing faster than the ones down by the pool. And then over here, this one I bought online as a waggy, and it's definitely not a waggy. I'm not sure what it is. It's definitely in the Trachycarpus family. It's a little thin. The first year I had it out here, it had a spear pull. I used peroxide, it came right back. I've actually been using a box method on this one just because I'm not quite sure what it is. It seems really skinny compared to my other trachys. So if anybody has an idea of what this might be, I wish it was a waggy. I bought it as a waggy, but it's not. But it's still pretty. And this one's another one of my trachys that came from Georgia. It was really small. It's getting quite big. It had a little bit of a rough winter. I'm not sure why, because it was protected the same way all the rest are. So some of these fronds could probably be taken off, but there's definitely new growth on it. So I think it's just a little, it wasn't happy this winter for some reason, but it's grown a lot. I think it's okay. And one of my windmills is up here behind the cactus garden. It's kind of hidden back in there. I'm hoping it will grow nice and big because it's under a cherry tree that probably needs to come down, and then I'm hoping I have a nice statement of a nice palm tree on the hill. But while I'm down here showing you all the cactus and the lavender blooming, it's really pretty down here. And here's my little windmill that I dug up that I completely chopped off. It's definitely on the comeback now. So it's going to continue to be babied and even come inside this winter and then planted outdoors next year when it's fully recovered. And how can you not love this one? My Chilean wine palm hybrid that I got from Gary Gregg in California. So it went through the winter just great. It looks really good. It's got nice new growth coming in on it here. I love this palm. I love it so much. And I just think it looks fantastic out here. Really happy with this one. So buried among all the perennials in my garden are some needle palms that I don't cover at all. This one's been out here for probably 3 or 4 years. I wouldn't say it's got tremendous growth, but if I will move the echinacea that just keeps coming into wherever, it will show a little bit better. I've had moderate success with them. I will order some and sometimes they just don't make it. Sometimes, I'll show you over here, they make it and then die, and then I think they're dead, and then all of a sudden you realize, no, it's still alive. So buried down in here, there is a needle palm stuck in there among the plumeria and daylilies. So they're definitely there. I just find them a little troublesome. And I got a big one time and it just completely died. I just think, so maybe I know some people say they're better when they're larger to handle the cold. I wonder if they're better when they're smaller and getting used to it. I don't know. That's been my experience so far. And I love this palm, my European fan palm. It's doing really, really well. It overwintered great. This was its first winter. It did fantastic. It looks really nice up against the house here. It makes a statement. I opened it up a lot this winter just to let some sun in on sunny days. I don't know if it helped or not, but it was in a box, and there's several in there, all bunched together. But it makes a really nice bush, I think, and I want to show you what I want to do. I bought one more this year, so I'll show you that, and I just have it out here with all the yuccas. And then off over here you can see, yes, I have a lack of storage space for all my palm coverings that I have. So I know this is a bad angle with the sun, but here's my other European fan palm. And what I'm really thinking about doing is cutting off the suckers on this one and not let it be a bush, but let it just go up with just a single trunk. I feel bad doing that, but I think since I already have one that's in really a bush form, why not let this one be a little different and enjoy it? If anybody has an opinion on that, let me know. I would like to know what you think. And coming up the walk, I have my Chinese fan palm here, and it did really well over the winter. Like, some of the fronds got a little fried just because they were up against the edge, but I have a lot of new growth on it and it looks happy, and I think it's in a really good spot for it as you come up the steps, and I'm pretty happy with that. And then this is the unknown palm. I got several dwarf varieties a couple years ago. I had them labeled. They all blew away in the winter. I have no idea. This is the only one that's made it. I really haven't done that much with it. I usually don't even cover it. It's got some new growth this year, but it's pretty small. And so let's talk date palms. So this is my canary date palm. It is starting to form a trunk. I've had it forever, but it lived in a pot. And now it's lived outside. I guess this is its third summer outside. Maybe it's fourth, I have to look it up. I need to get rid of the echinacea behind it because it's kind of hiding it and it doesn't really show it off, but it's really starting to grow now. I feel bad because I felt like I kept it. I even trimmed some of the roots off several years in a row because it wouldn't fit in the pots. So I've definitely done it a disservice, but now it's living the good life outside. And this overwinters really well protected in a box, but it does great. And also that does really well is my Phoenix Robellini, my pygmy date. I love this one. It's that top frond up there is a good 6.5 feet tall. It's a nice tall one. It has some new growth on it. I think it looks fantastic. It really makes a nice statement coming in to the garden from the gate. It's one of my favorite palms, but the spines are quite lethal on it, as with most date palms, so you just have to be careful with that, but it does really well. And I love this little guy here. This one is actually forming a trunk now. I think it's doing really well. It's a Sylvester, Phoenix Sylvester. It's looking good. It does really well over the winter. It's got some new growth coming in on it, and I'm really happy with it. And hopefully it will get nice and big and look fabulous out here by the pool. And then hidden back in here in my side garden is one of my date palms. And this is, I grew from edible dates that I bought in the store. And this one really took off. And this is where my Trachycarpus that suffered over the winter was. I dug it up because I thought it was dead and replaced it with this one. And this one is growing pretty fast. So I actually think it's probably the fastest growing date palm I have. It's never wintered out here, so this will be its first winter. So I know it's a little hard to see in here, but I'm excited about this one. And you always want what you can't have. And of course, my Sabal Palmetto. This is a tragic story in that I paid for a hurricane cut, or no, I paid for a regenerated one. I sadly accepted a hurricane cut, and I don't think it's grown at all. It's just, I am trying with it, but I think it's doomed. So I really lost out on that. And yeah, it's not looking good on that side. Not very happy that I didn't get what I wanted. And unfortunately, I won't have a Sabal because I really wanted one. So that's kind of a sad thing. And then I mentioned before, I've got lots of baby palms, lots of date palms, lots of date palm hybrids. I've got a ribbon palm. I'm trying to remember what this is. It's actually in the pot, in the ground, and it's labeled on the pot, so I have to look it back up again. I keep trying to try out different varieties of everything, and I have more up on the deck, many of which are grown from seed, and I have some Beautias up on the deck as well. But and then way over here on the other side of the pool, I have a Cuban royal palm and a bottled palm that they come inside for sure. So, and a few more palms up here. Those are some Trachycarpus fortunei that I grew from seed from my trees. Some more Washingtonias of both varieties. And over here I have baby foxtail. I've got some more Washingtonias, all different kinds in here, and some more Trachycarpus. I have a lot of Trachycarpus, so hopefully they will all do well. My dog Charo there watching what I'm up to. And here you can see all the palms from up high. Anyway, like and subscribe. I hope this was informative just to see what I have palm tree wise. I'll actually walk through the garden at some point, but I thought this might be a little bit faster, although it's still pretty long. Anyway, have a great day.